Hi, it's Darno at Way Over Recipes, and I've got a recipe I'm going to try out with you, and I think it's going to come out real nice. Strawberry cinnamon rolls. That's right, from scratch strawberry cinnamon rolls. Going to be using a combination of the Zojirushi Virtuoso Plus Bread Maker and the NuWave Bravo XL Smart Oven. So this is one you don't want to miss, and let's get started right now. Alright, so to make these strawberry cinnamon rolls, I will say that I was inspired to do this recipe through the cinnamon roll bread that I did earlier, but this is a recipe I've put together with a different spin on that. So the ingredients that we start out with are kind of cinnamon roll bread similar, but I have myself here some milk, and this is 240 ml of milk, and this is whole cow's milk. I can't speak for how things would go using an alternative. Next ingredient, I have 2 large eggs beaten, so pouring those on in. Next ingredient I have is 4 1/4 cups of bread flour, so pouring that in slowly. Now that I've got the bread flour in, I'm just going to make a small well in the middle for the yeast that I'll put in last. Next ingredient I have is 1/4 cup of sugar, so putting that in on the sides. Put on that side, and just put some here on the other side. Just throw some more over there. And my next ingredient is 2 teaspoons of salt. This is kosher salt, not table salt. And you especially don't want to use iodized salt. So kosher salt is really the best for the best outcome. My next ingredient is 2 1/2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I've already softened it, so just going to basically take pieces off and drop them off inside of here, just avoiding the middle well where my yeast will go. And the last ingredient is 2 teaspoons of bread machine yeast, so I'm going to get those out and put those into my little well here. Alright, with everything in the baking pan, I'm going to open up the bread maker and put the baking pan down inside and lock it on in and close it up. Now I've got you in for a close-up view, and basically at this point I want to go to the homemade course, which is course 15, so go down to 15. And I'm going to go through the cycle settings. For the first one, for rest, I don't want anything. And then I go up to my kneading, and I want to adjust that kneading from 15 minutes to 20 minutes. So just pop that up to 20 minutes even. And that's all I really want. I just want the bread machine to mix this up for me and to act as my mixer to basically blend things up really nice for me. So going through the other cycle options, I don't want to get into the whole shape and all that, but it doesn't matter because it's going to beep for me once the kneading's done, and I'm basically going to stop at that point. I'm not going to do anything else after it's done kneading. So I'm just going to hit start here, let it do its 20 minutes of kneading. It'll let me know when the 20 minutes of kneading is done, like I said, and then we'll get it out and we'll continue. Alright, so after the bread maker finished kneading up the dough for me, I just got that out of the way real quick, and so I've got the dough here. I've also got myself a bowl with a little all-purpose flour. Now, you know, some recipes with using bread flour with the bread maker or something like that might recommend using bread flour even for your sprinkling. I just use all-purpose flour for the sprinkling, you know, while I'm basically moving the dough around. It doesn't really matter because you're not using a whole ton of it. It's not, you know, the base of your dough, so you can use some all-purpose flour for steps like this that I'm doing right now, just to have a little space to work on your dough here. So I'm just going to basically get it rolled up into a ball at this point to try and make a full dough ball. So just move it around a little bit and just get it, try and get my ball formed, just kind of massage it a little bit. and just try and make my ball. So just with that, just pack it in and just let it sit like this. I'm just going to go ahead and stick it in this bowl here, and I'll just cover that with like a paper towel, let that rest for 30 minutes to do a little rising. Alright, so I let that dough set and rest for 30 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the lid off of that, and we can see it grew a little bit. I've also got some other ingredients here for my strawberry cinnamon rolls. Got myself some strawberry jam, so I'm going to go ahead and get the lid off the jam. And I've also got a mixture of 5 tablespoons of brown sugar and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the dough ball out. I'm going to make myself some more room here. And I've also got my rolling pin here, and so I'm going to get a little more flour laid down so I can basically roll this dough ball out. I'm going to roll it out. And so setting it down here, and I'm going to just start getting it rolled out now. Alright, so I've got my dough pretty well laid out, and so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the strawberry jam and put it up to maybe about this point here. Just kind of make a very, very smooth layer of strawberry jam. So just going to basically get that all laid out here. Alright, so I got my jam laid out, and I want to point out that I used seedless strawberry jam, so you can make that really smooth and, you know, smooth it out real easy. And if you wanted to make just regular cinnamon rolls instead of strawberry, you would just do a thin layer of milk instead of strawberry jam. Now I've got my mixture of brown sugar and cinnamon. I'm just going to sprinkle that all over this layer of strawberry jam now. Alright, so we've got our cinnamon brown sugar all laid out. I've got a pan here. This is a 13-inch baking pan with no handles on the end to stick out. It fits perfectly in the NuWave Bravo XL Smart Oven Air Fryer. I'll leave a link for it in the video description, a referral link, although nothing in this video is sponsored. And so I'm going to take and roll up my cinnamon roll now. This is just do a gentle roll. So we move it forward and just roll, roll, and roll some more. And just going to finish the roll. Now that I've finished the roll, I'm going to start cutting my cinnamon rolls. You want to make them maybe about 1 inch in thickness or so. You know, I just myself eyeball it, but you can use whatever method you want to do your cuts, but maybe about 1 inch thick. And if you roll things out about, you know, 12 by 12 inches or maybe more, I'm sure I probably did something bigger, but just make your cuts down here of the dough with the cinnamon mixture with a dough slicer. Makes it real easy if you use a dough slicer for these types of things. So just going to finish these up, and we'll see how many I make. That one there I made huge. Made that one a little too big. Gotta maybe get a couple more out of this. 2 or 3 more. So yep. Cut on this one here. All right. So we've got them all done. Got one extra large one. But I've got exactly 10 cinnamon rolls with what I cut up. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put these all into my baking pan. This is a really good non-stick baking pan. I really, you know, like I said, although nothing in this video is sponsored, I will say, you know, just personally speaking, I like these US steel products made by this company. It makes this pan They are some real good stuff, this USA Steel. I have like a pizza pan from them also, and now I have their baking pan, and I feel they make really good quality stuff to use in the kitchen. And I say that not sponsored or anything. I just say that because I do find they make some good products. So I'm just kind of, setting these all around, laying these all out. Alright, so I've got these all well laid out now. I'm just going to basically leave them there. I'm going to leave them here, I'm going to cover them and let them just set to rise for like 2 hours. Just leave them for 2 hours. And you're going to see, these things are going to get humongous, but I'll bring you back. Alright, so our strawberry cinnamon rolls have been sitting here just rising for a couple of hours. Before I reveal them, I'm going to go ahead and get the NuWave Bravo XL Smart Oven Air Fryer started up to start it preheating. So I've turned it on and I'm going to bake. So I'm on bake, going down to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to hit the time temp button because I'm going to have the time be, basically it's going to take between 20-30 minutes. So I'm just going to set it to 30. We'll see how long it takes. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and hit the button to start the preheat. While it preheats, just want to show you, look how those have exploded since they've been setting and rising some more. They have, almost totally overtaken the pan. So basically just let these just kind of hang out. As soon as things are done with the preheat, we'll get this right on in. Alright, so things are finished preheating, so I'm going to go ahead and slide it right on in. As you see, this pan fits perfectly inside. I'm going to go ahead and hit the start button to let things start cooking. We'll let that go for a while and I'll bring you on back. Alright, so 15 minutes have passed. Going to hit the pause button and going to spin the bake pan around. So I'm going to get this out carefully and spin it. This helps ensure a very even cook on all sides. I've got the rack, I forgot to mention, on the very lowest rack level, in case anyone's wondering about which rack level. Hitting start again, going to let that continue. We'll keep an eye on things and see how this goes. Alright, so I've let these go about 25 minutes total, and so going to go ahead and open up here and have a look. Going to hit pause. I think they look, for cinnamon rolls, I think they look done. You always, don't want to overcook cinnamon rolls, make them hard. You kind of want to get them while they're still kind of got some of the gooiness, but you want to get them brown as well. But I think we've got that, goal achieved at this point. I think they look pretty decent. So I'm just going to set them right there and just turn the Bravo off and just kind of let these set and cool for a little while. And while these are cooling, I've got myself here 2 cups of powdered sugar, 2 cups of confectioner's sugar, and I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of water into the sugar, and then I'm going to basically try and whisk it up to kind of mix it up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get my water in there now. So 1 and 2 and 3, and it just breaks the powdered sugar right down real quick and easy. And just kind of get my whisker in there and just kind of move it around a little bit. Probably could have used a bigger bowl for this one. Starting out, I wasn't 100% sure if I would need a little bit more sugar, and I put a little bit more in there because I want to make sure that I cover all these pretty well. And so this bowl is struggling to hold all of it in, but I'm going to get another tablespoon of water added in there. So basically got 2 cups of convection of sugar with a 1/4 cup of water at this point, and that's mixing up real nice. So when you make your icing, do 2 cups of powdered sugar and a 1/4 cup of water and you'll be straight. So I'm just going to basically continue getting this mixed up, but I'm going to let these continue to cool, and once they get a little cooler, then it'll be time to ice them. Alright, so I let these hang out for a little while just to cool off a little bit, not too much. Got my icing all mixed up. So I might try and kind of spoon it out very slowly, but just gonna see how I can get it out to just ooh, look at that. That's good. So I'm just gonna basically run the perimeter and circle in. Alright, and then just kind of work my way around and back out. That looks delicious. Very tasty looking. So just gonna basically do some touch-up work at this point. Everything is got some of the icing, and just gonna continue to run it around and get it all over everything really nice. But this looks great. Alright, we've got them all iced up, so I'm going to just take one, and they've kind of grown together, so it's almost like one gigantic one at this point, but they kind of merged a little. So I'm just going to try and get this one here, this end cut one here, and see if I can get it out. It might be more easier to remove than trying to get in the middle at some of the others. So this one, almost got it. Let's see. All right, got it out. Show you the inside, how it cooked inside there. Gonna drop that on down there. Gonna move the camera and do a taste test. All right, so here's our strawberry cinnamon roll. So let's do a taste. All right, sorry about that. It was so ooey gooey. It was like coming apart and starting to fall. It's starting to almost drip icing and such, and so I wanted to make sure I didn't make a whole mess in here. But it tastes good. Can definitely taste the strawberry jam, taste the cinnamon brown sugar mix. It tastes good. Turned out really well. Definitely like it. Able to get it all cooked up at once in there, and that turned out real cool. So you'll be able to find this recipe. Look in the video description for a link. Also, you can find other recipes on my blog at superwaveovenrecipes.com. You can always come to this YouTube channel by going to waveovenrecipes.com, also on Twitter and Instagram at waveovenrecipes. And if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, share the video with a friend, leave your comments, hit that notification bell, and subscribe as well, and good eating.